Hey guys, it's Alvin from Forge Outdoors here. Today we're gonna put another D-loop on my bow, and I'm gonna go through how I do it here so you guys can do it yourself. Okay, so we have the bow in the press here. If you don't have a press, you can put it in another stand of some sort so that it's sitting there so you can get to the D-loop. My D-loop is already where I need it. I'm just putting a new one on, and we're tying in a knot above and below to give a little bit more forgiveness on the D-loop here. So that's why I'm changing this one up. So we're just going to cut this one off and put the new one on. So we just want to be careful that we don't cut the serving here whenever we're cutting the D-loop off. The serving is the black layer over your string here where your knot hook's on. So we just want to be careful that you don't cut that as you're taking the old D-loop off. And then from there, what I want to do is take some serving and just add like a 1/4 inch of serving in the top and bottom. Maybe not quite. So we're just going to do some overhand knots, and we're going to put some serving above and below the knock here. So you start with about 10 or 12 inches of D-loop here. And then you just take it not quite against the excuse me, not quite against the top of the knock there, and just tie a knot. Pull it tight, and then just keep wrapping that around the string and tying knots. So I did about 4 wraps on there, and that brought it out not quite a 1/4 inch out from the top of the knock. So I'm just going to take that and make sure it's real tight, and then tie one more knot in that and cut that serving and burn it off. And then the top one is complete. Then we do the same on the bottom. And you just take, and you want to burn that from, you want to always have your flame on top of your string. You never want to go below it. So heat those ends up, melt them, and then push them down. So that's what you're looking for there. Now we're going to put this back on and do the same on the bottom. Now we got 4 on the bottom as well, and then you just take it and knot it one more time and cinch everything down tight. So this is to keep knock pinch from happening on your D-loop, and knock pinch happens when you come to full draw. It'll create push on your D-loop top or bottom and cause it to come off your rests and create inconsistent arrow flight. So that's why we tie that top and bottom, and then the D-loop will go up against that. So we're just going to cut that and burn that off, and then we're ready to put the D-loop on. So the reason I decided to put a new D-loop on here was I was concerned that I was getting knock pinch with the old D-loop without the serving on the top and bottom of the knock. So yeah, I decided I'm going to do an experiment with putting some serving above and below floor wraps like we talked about before. And now we're going to just take a piece of D-loop a little longer than what you need, so about 8 inches of D-loop. And then we'll just start with burning the one end, and then we'll go through the process of tying it on. So you want to fray that end there of your D-loop so it gets all fuzzy. Something like that. You just want to take your lighter and heat that up real good till it melts into a ball. And I just take my lighter and push it down and mushroom that end. And it creates a lip to hook it on, which I'll show you here in a second whenever I gotta tie this on. So then that melted end goes on the outside. And here we're putting the bottom on the inside. We're just going to work that down till that's seated up against the serving. The D-loop is up against the serving that we put on. And the knot, the mushroom end of the D-loop is down against there. We're just going to pull all that as tight as we can. You want to try to get as much of that out as you can as you're going. Okay, so now we're just going to take the D-loop on the opposite side of the string as we did the bottom, and we're going to take it around and then bring, I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing, and you bring that around and pull that up so it's something like that. And then you just work that down to where it looks like the other one here. So I'm shooting a thumb release, and I like to keep my D-loops a little bit longer with a thumb release, and that's also to create so that it doesn't create torque on the string, because with a thumb release you turn your wrist a little bit after you clip it on when you come to full draw, and it can create torque on your string. So I like keeping that D-loop a little bit longer. If you're shooting that with an index style release, it's not as important. So that'll stretch a little bit once I really tighten it down. Everything will settle in, so that's about right there. I'll just take my pliers and pull out as much of this as I can. Get that as tight as I can. And then you cut that about 1/4 inch from the bottom so that you have that room to fray that and mushroom that in. Melt that down against. just like that. And then I have a D-loop pliers here. You can use the needle nose pliers that don't work as good, but I have a D-loop pliers or the needle nose. So you can, if you only have a needle nose pliers, you can put it in there and then you just have to pull apart like that. Or the D-loop pliers has a hook on it that you can go in there. You don't want to go crazy on it or you can damage your serving down here. You just want to make sure everything's pushed together. All your D-loop is pushed together down here. And then you just want to take the rest of that slack out of there. Cinch that down tight. You don't want that to move after you have everything on and you start shooting. There it is, guys. Okay guys, so we took it out there and shot a few shots through it after we put the D-loop on, and it's shooting great. But anytime you put a new D-loop on, you want to paper tune it again, make sure it's still shooting bullet holes before you take it out in the woods. Yeah, I'll do that. Shoot it through paper, make sure she's still tuned good before we go out. If you guys need a new D-loop or any bow work done, you can check us out at Ford Show Outdoors or reach me at 717-440-4105. Thanks for watching.